Will never teach you how to go from complete zero to having 9 doors as a 20-year-old in regards to the real estate, and alongside that, going from 0 to a 7-figure portfolio within less than 6 months. And the reason why I mentioned this in regards to us doing those things is not to brag, it's simply because I want you guys to have obviously fucking belief in the shit that we've done, and I could obviously am showing this on the screen. And alongside that, you guys know that I'm just not talking out of my ass. The biggest thing that I would say has been a detriment in regards to our success when it comes to college being integrated in it is that I realized about college is that a lot of things that you're going to learn are purely hypothetical, right? And there are a lot of people that are hypothetically smart, but they're not smart in reality in regards to real world scenarios. And anybody can be hypothetically smart about information, but when it comes to actual implementation, things are going to change on the fly. And you're not going to be in a position where you get time to fucking go back to your teacher and go back to your counselor, go back to your tutor. None of that. And I'm actually in college, so I'm not in a position where I'm talking purely like a hypothetical as well, where I'm saying like, oh, college is trash and you shouldn't go there and all the above, because some people will do that online, but purely it's just because they want you to buy their program as opposed to fucking college, right? Some college majors are BS, but alongside that, that's not the topic of the video, and I want to keep it on track. Alongside me being in a position where I said about the hypothetical knowledge versus the real world knowledge, the second thing is, like I said, things move so fucking fast when it comes to growing a portfolio like that. So you can't go and hit someone else up, like I said, about the teachers, the counselors, or the tutors. So you need to be able to think on the fly, because things are everlasting, things are ever changing. And when it comes to this, is that you're going to be able to, when you think on your feet, oftentimes you're going to be in a position where there's a lot of distress on you, there's a lot of stress on you, but you still have to keep a logical state of mind. You can't be thinking emotionally, even if it's gonna suck. There's sometimes you're gonna make a decision where both options fucking suck. Like, both options suck. And for example, that's one I'm dealing with right now. One of our properties, we're evicting a tenant right now. It's like, either one, you're gonna evict this tenant and you're gonna have no rent coming in and you're gonna have to repair the property and you put someone else in, or you don't do it and they're not gonna keep paying their portion of the Section 8 rent, so you're not gonna be making as much as you want. So it's like, both options suck, but which one sucks less? Remove someone and do someone that's actually really grateful for the property, boom, 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 or keep this and keep dealing with the roller coaster of bullshit, right? Both options suck, and you have to be able to make that decision logically, no emotion, and face it chin up, chest out, and you're not going to have the time to console people, because things take time, and alongside, I think things also happen very fast. Why I mention that is that you have to be fast to go and get the eviction process started, because it takes time. Another thing when it regards to college, and with me being in a portfolio, like me building this portfolio with my business partner Alex, is that there's not going to be a clear-cut path to absolutely everything, right? People look for this clear-cut path, like, let me do my more research and this and all that shit. If someone ever hits me that I want to do more research about this shit, go ahead, but I don't want to talk to you about it anymore, because I know that you're full of shit. Like, it's just, very fucking rarely is someone going to come and be like, oh, like, I'm going to do my own research and boom, 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 and they come back and actually do something. Most of the time it's a scapegoat. Most of the time it's about your cope. Most of the time it's about your cap. So when I mention this, you're not gonna, like I said, you're not gonna have time, and you're not gonna be able to think about hypothetical stuff. Is that there's not gonna be a clear-cut path. Like, you're gonna have to just take action without knowing it. That's the beauty of the game. You need to be in a position where you reframe your mindset from, how can I go and make the most of this opportunity, versus how can I go and do the best of this opportunity, because you're never gonna do or how can I make this opportunity perfect? How can I do everything perfect? You're never gonna be able to do everything perfect. You're gonna have to start where you have. It's gonna suck. It's gonna cost more than you think. It's gonna take longer than you think, and it's gonna be a lot harder than you think. But you're gonna have to do that, because what's the other option? What's your alternative? Deadass. If you're in a position where you have nothing to lose, what is your other fucking alternative? It's either that or nothing. Like, there's no other alternative. You're gonna have to take action blindly, and you're gonna have to sprint even when the distance is unknown. You're gonna have to fucking do it. What else do you want to do? There's nothing else you do. Even if you hire a mentor, things are not always gonna go according to plan. And I've experienced this personally, not only in the sense of mentorships that I bought, but also people that I mentored, right? Because there's a clear-cut path that I've created, but sometimes it may steer off. Some person may have some sort of thing that pops up on their credit report. That means you have to steer off the path, but you come right back. But if you don't even take steps in the direction that you think is the right direction, you borderline assume, nothing's gonna happen. Nothing's gonna happen. And even if you go and you fail for fucking 6 months, your worst case scenario after failing and getting the actual real world knowledge, real world experience, and not the hypothetical knowledge like I mentioned, is somebody else's worst everyday reality. Your worst case scenario is someone's everyday reality, even if you fail for 6 months. The worst case scenario is that you will be in the same fucking spot, but with more experience, more contacts, and more real world knowledge of how this shit goes. That's the reality of it. And if you keep pushing with it, eventually you're going to succeed. Eventually you are. The other thing about college is they're never going to teach you how to borrow money correctly. They always say, stay away from debt. Debt is bad. They don't teach you about money. You need to be able to use other people's money. Like, you just have to. If you don't, you're gonna be in a position where you're stuck to exactly obviously what you have. And there's two types of dollars in this world. There's the dollars that are made and are owned by other people, and there's dollars that are made and owed by you. And there's a lot more money that's other people's than there is of yours. So you're going to be able to use it, and it doesn't necessarily need to be from a direct person. It could be from a bank, a 0% interest business credit card. It could be a business line of credit, things like that. And I would recommend those because you're in a position where you're not dealing with someone that is obviously an individual who has emotions, whose feelings could change any other day, and who's going to be on your ass if things don't go according to plan perfectly, just like how I mentioned previously before on this step. Is that if you're like, oh, I need this perfect plan, it's not going to fucking happen. It's not. It's just not going to happen. But when you're able to go and leverage other people's money, you're able to grow faster and you're able to scale faster. And when you understand the real estate game, you could always bail yourself out. Always bail yourself out. Like, it's borderline hard to fail in the real estate game when you own properties that are actually, producing income, because you're in a position where there's always some way that you can bail yourself out. Leveraging other people's money, scale your portfolio, and be able to do multiple things at once. And another thing is that college is always going to teach you to multitask, and multitasking is like the best way to do it, or the best way to live and do your things. That's honestly, I don't believe that's the truth. And if I was multitasking in the sense of our real estate portfolio, I'll be doing flips and wholesales and new construction and all that shit. And maybe later down the road when I have the team and have the bandwidth, have the money to do it. But in the beginning, you're going to need to dial in on one fucking thing, and that is it. That is it. Section 8 rentals and traditional rentals. That's all we do. I don't do Airbnb. I don't do any short-term rentals. I don't do fucking pad split. I don't do mid-term rentals. None of that. It's purely long-term rentals, Section 8 rentals, well, obviously the same thing. And that is it. And, the traditional and the Section 8, that is it. And why? Because if I'm in a position where I'm going and doing these multiple things, especially when I'm starting from zero, right, or I'm bootstrapping it the way that we are right now, I'm going to go and be half-assed at all of those things. Because there's no fucking way from absolutely nothing that you're going to be able to orchestrate all of those things at once. There just isn't, right? Maybe later on the road, I will. Maybe I'll have a wholesale that I do here because it doesn't make sense for me to do that deal, or I'll have a flip going on, or I'll have a new construction where I build my own house. Maybe. But for the beginning, you're getting to be able to dialed in, and that is it. But college can tell you to multitask, and that you need to be able to do multiple things at once. In regards to something that you're brand new at, no. But once you start to grow, once we went from 0 to four doors, we were in a position where we had to do multiple things at once. So we wouldn't have scaled, right? But it was multiple things at once of the same fucking thing, which is buying properties, putting tenants in them that are Section 8 or traditional, and that is it. But not wholesaling, not flipping, not rental arbitrage, not fucking residential buildings that we're building from the ground up. None of that. The other thing with college too is that you're going to need to be in a position where you build a stress tolerance that is so fucking high that it's borderline like nothing could affect you at all. I'm 20. When I was 20 years old, which was obviously like 2 weeks ago, we were in a position where we're buying another property, right? That's closing on the 28th. Today is the 21st, right? So it's basically a week. Closing on this property, dealing with eviction, in college at the same time, traveling to New York. There's so many fucking things happening at once that I'm in a position now where I could give less of a fuck about things that are not as valuable to me when it comes to say for example, a college cost, I failed a college cost, whatever, fuck, I don't give a fuck. Because my problems get larger, my stress tolerance gets bigger, and I firmly believe that your stress tolerance is a direct proponent of how successful you're going to become. Because if you cannot handle stress and you can't make logical decisions under stress, you're in a position where you're going to crumble when things get hard, and it's going to be a detriment to your success. So they don't teach you how to build, obviously, a stress tolerance. That is, like I said, it's something that's the biggest fucking factor in regards to your success. Biggest factor. Oh, man. I'm spitballing off of this, but I can't really think of anything else in regards to the whole college side. But there are a lot of benefits to going to college, especially if you're an individual that is, one, trying to be very dynamic, two, trying to do things later down the road. One of my goals is to be a mayor of my city that I'm in currently. So being in college would be something that I want to go and obviously incorporate that, because obviously it's something that looks good on paper. But another thing is obviously applying into what I'm doing now, which is obviously buying properties, but understanding economics, understanding the whole equations, understanding how to underwrite things and use different formulas is something that's greatly, greatly, greatly helpful in regards to what I'm doing actively. But another thing, the last thing, college is not going to fucking teach you how to make connections correctly. They're going to say, take people out for coffee, ask to pick their brain. That is the biggest disrespect thing. the disrespectful thing that you could fucking do to someone that's actually putting in work and actually producing, right? And actually getting things done. Because you're telling this person that is in a position where they're putting in hours and hours and hours to become the best version of themselves and also produce at a high level in regards to either buying more properties, producing more content, producing more, getting more deals done. And you're saying, hey, could I go and take you out to coffee, which is worth $3 an hour in terms of time, and buy your coffee so I could pick your brain about shit that you put in hours of fucking time to learn and hella amount of tears and hella amount of blood into for $3 an hour? Like, do you realize how disrespectful that is? Like, you are in a position where you have nothing to bring to the table and you're asking for that. So as opposed to being in a position where you do something like that, you need to go and say, how can I make myself as valuable as possible, even with the limited resources that I have, in order to learn the most from this individual that is only a couple steps ahead of me, as opposed to a mile away from me. Because when someone's a mile or 10 miles or 100 miles away, above you in regards to skill sets, accomplishments above, they're having completely different conversations, and they're not someone that's going to help you get to the next step. They're good. Maybe you help you get from, for example, $50 to $100, but if you need to go and learn from how to get from fucking 0 to your first 3, you're gonna want to have someone that has like maybe 10 to 25 because they got that down to a T. So make yourself more valuable, present yourself correctly, and sometimes the only thing that you're going to have that's valuable to an individual like that is money. That's the only thing you have. And you maybe have to fucking work dead-end jobs to get it. That's the way that I did, because that may be the only thing you have. And that's the unfortunate reality of it. You may have to pay them. Because you have to think about it from their perspective. They put hours and thousands of tears, thousands of fucking drops of blood into this skill set or this endeavor, and you're asking to trade it off for $3 worth of fucking coffee, $5 worth of coffee max for an hour. When that hour could have made them fucking $500 doing what they actually do for a living. So college never teach you that. They say, oh, I'll pick their brain and, hit them up and say, hey, let me take you out to dinner, lunch. Why the fuck would they do it? Someone that actually respects it, why would they do it? I get texts like that and I fucking hate them. I hate them. Because it either, one, shows me that you don't bring anything to the table. 2, you don't fucking know the hours that go into what we're actually orchestrating. So you think that you can just buy out of nowhere. And 3, you don't realize that we value our time so much that it's not just going to be worth fucking $4 or a cup of coffee. So if you're in a position where you've done that before, the mistakes happen, but change it. Think about how you value yourself. Or you even ask them, like, look, I want to learn XYZ from you. Let me take you out to dinner, or let me take you out to lunch, but I want to see how much it will cost to be personally mentor you on how to do this. Let me take you out to lunch. Text them that. Say, hey, look, I want to be personally mentor you on how I can go from 0 to my to 3 units, and I will pay you however much you want. Whatever. I'll pay you to teach me this shit. And don't say, I'm going to say however much you want, because they might put like some bullshit ass price tag. I'll say, I will pay you to fucking teach me this shit. Because when you put money behind it, people often want to teach you more. Because I could give someone all the free advice in the world, but if it's free, most of the time they're not going to do shit. If they pay for it, they're in it, and I also know that they'll take action upon it. If they take action upon it, it'll actually make me want to help them even more, even beyond whatever the person pays. And I'm not saying that every relationship's going to have a paywall behind it, but you need to be in a position where you understand how to create that connection. Like I said, most of the time, sometimes the only valuable thing you may have is money. That is it. So, appreciate you coming to the TED Talk. This is Mikey, man. Yeah, it is. So, I'll catch you on the flip. Let me know what content y'all want. I'll probably drop some vlogs. I'm going to be buying this property soon, closing, so I'll make a vlog on that. But I'm going to keep doing real spitballs like this. If there's any clippers in my database in regards to, network and all the above, hit me up, because I would love to hire y'all. Appreciate y'all watching. Leave a comment if any of these stood out to you. And alongside that, check out the IG, check out the TikTok, and 728, another property loading, 9 doors by 21 years old.